Hey, and welcome to a practical guide to reflection. You've probably heard of reflection, and you may have even been asked to do it, but what exactly is it? Let's start with a working definition. First, it's important to note that reflection can center on a text or an experience. For my comments on this particular slide, I'll focus on an experience so it doesn't get confusing, but please know that all my comments can be applied to reflecting on a text. So here's how reflection works. After you go through an experience, reflection allows you to analyze the experience. Reflection also allows you to step back and analyze your own response to the experience. In this way, reflection is a kind of double vision. It allows you to look at the experience and at yourself. But why, you might be wondering? Couldn't we just, have the experience? Isn't that the important part? Not according to Graham Gibbs, author of Learning by Doing. He says, "It is not sufficient to have an experience in order to learn. Without reflecting on this experience, it may quickly be forgotten or its learning potential lost." Reflection helps you process the text or experience. It helps you make meaning. It turns doing into learning and improvement. I'll give you another reason why reflection matters. In your final portfolio, a large part of your grade will depend on the quality and depth of your reflection. You'll get plenty of practice this semester, but I thought a little direct instruction would be good on the front end. After all, it wouldn't be fair to grade you on something I haven't taught you how to do. Before we go further, I want to draw a distinction between reflective writing and academic writing. In my experience, many students treat all writing like academic writing, but if you try to apply the conventions of academic writing to reflection, you'll only make yourself and your reader miserable. When it comes to reflective writing, you can drop the distant, impersonal stance of academic writing. Does that mean you can use the personal pronoun I in reflective writing? Yes, a lot. Remember how the double vision looks at the experience as well as yourself? You wouldn't be able to exercise that double vision without saying I. Academic writing usually considers the views of others. Reflective writing is all about your personal response. Research is rarely required. Academic writing usually has a thesis that makes an argument. Reflective writing is more meditative. It's an account of your thinking, turning questions over and over in your mind, having some realizations, but not really trying to persuade anyone about a big point. This last row, the bottom one, is interesting. Sometimes, but not always, reflective writing considers a problem. In this class, a problem might take the form of a writing issue. Let's say you notice that you have a hard time getting started with a writing session. You might do some reflective writing on why this is the case and what you might do about it. Reflection has three basic modes. Let's start with that top circle, description. It can be useful to lay down some basic facts about your chosen text or experience. Another word for this move is summary. You're telling us a little about the text or experience. Emphasis on a little. You don't need much. A common mistake in reflection is to spend too much time and energy on a summary of the text or experience. Think of this part as the foundation for a house. It's important, but it doesn't take up a lot of space and no one finds it all that interesting. The second mode is analytical. If the description is like play-by-play commentary, this part is like the color commentary. Your job here is to make meaning with the text or experience. If you don't know how to do that yet, don't worry. We'll go deeper into this bubble later in the screencast. For now, I just want you to note that analysis is a big part of reflection. The last mode is expressive. This is the most personal and subjective mode. Here you're going deep inside yourself to pay attention to your responses to the text or experience. Okay, let's get practical. Over the next several slides, I'll give you some tips and questions to consider during reflection. They'll all take the form of answers to this big question: what can I discuss in reflection? The first answer here is not everything. Be selective, especially when it comes to your summary of the text or experience. You don't have to tell us everything that happened, just key events or ideas. To make your selections, you might ask yourself, what was the most important or interesting or useful part of this text or experience? Remember the double vision I mentioned on an earlier slide? In reflective thinking, you analyze not only the text or experience, but also your own beliefs, values, attitudes, and assumptions. In reflection, it can be valuable to start with all the stuff you bring with you to the text or experience. Examine your prior knowledge and underlying beliefs. Notice I said to examine these things, not just report them. To examine them means to think about why you hold these beliefs, values, etc. What has shaped you in this regard? Next, you might turn to your perception of the text or experience. Pay attention to your response. What did you find interesting or difficult or confusing, and why? Again, the why is so important. Asking why and attempting an answer will move you from mere reporting to examination, which is the heart of reflection. So we've talked about the stuff you're bringing to the text or experience. We've also talked about your response. Another good reflective move is to compare these two things, your past beliefs and your present response. Do your new ideas affirm what you believed? Or do they extend your beliefs? Or do they challenge what you thought you knew? Questions will always help you dig deeper into reflection. Pay attention to the questions that float up into your mind as you reflect. Take up those questions and try to answer them. Your questions may be about the text or experience itself, or your questions may be about yourself. For example, why did I get so restless in the middle of this screencast? You can also ask big questions that connect the text or experience to our course goals, or to your writing practice, or to your life. When reflecting, keep in mind this tiny set of questions that some people think are the 3 most important questions you can ask about any text. What does it say? What does it mean? Why does it matter? Honesty is important in reflection. It's okay to point to your successes, but it's also okay to point to your stumbles. Then you can think about why you stumbled and what you might do differently next time. This is a great way to learn and improve, which, of course, is the whole point of reflection. In reflection, you look at the past, the present, and the future. We've already talked about looking at the past. The past is your prior knowledge and assumptions, all the stuff you bring to the text or experience. We've talked about the present too. The present is your response to the text or experience. Now let's talk about the future. A good way to end any reflection is by summing up your findings and looking forward. Here's an easy way to do this with 2 simple questions. What have I learned? How can it be applied in the future? You might also think about your next steps for future learning. An easy way to do this is to ask yourself, what's next? I'll end with this collection of sentence starters that can guide you down the path of reflection. If you like, you can pause the video and copy down the ones that seem promising to you. Or you can always reference the slide deck with a script of my comments, which I'll post as a PDF in the video description.